The other day I had a guy say to me, "Oh, what did you get all dolled up to find a man tonight?" And I said, "Yeah, I find it much easier to lure them in when I'm good looking. That way I can bring them home and sacrifice them to Satan."
Welcome to The Wall, brothers. We must say that modern women always want something. They love to ask for what they want but don't like to contribute or give anything in return. Why shouldn't men have standards, but women should? Today, we will see the different opinions and standards of different modern women. But before we continue, brothers, we invite you to subscribe, like the video. We want to reach 50,000 subscribers, so we ask for a small contribution so the family keeps growing. We leave our super chat if you want to donate to the channel. Don't forget to leave us your comments. Without further introduction, let's begin.
How old are you?
28.
Has dating gotten easier at 28 for you?
Not as much.
Why do you say that?
Social media.
Would you say it's caused you to have higher expectations?
Well, yeah, just because you have to go with what the generation is like getting accustomed to.
So at 28, let's say I wanted to take you out. How much do you expect me to spend on a first date?
Depends where we're going.
What's your expectation though?
I don't really have any.
So I could hit you up and say, hey, let's go to Burger King and get slushy?
No. I mean, at least like, nice 5-star type of restaurant, and then depending on how it goes, depending how I like you, and that all kind of goes with me even saying yes for a first actual date. So that takes a toll.
Okay. So 5-star restaurant in Miami, how much is that gonna range?
Depends how many drinks you'll be ordering.
Average.
Anywhere from 300 to 800 maybe. Jumpstart, yeah.
So realistically, you expect a man to spend $800 on a first date?
Yeah.
Has it happened before?
Yeah.
Why do you think he spent that much?
I mean, if they have it, it shouldn't be an issue.
Brothers, have you heard of spending $800 on a date just so her Instagram looks prettier? Because that's what they're after. Not because they have a genuine interest in getting to know you, but because they're interested in taking a photo in an expensive place with your sponsorship money, where I assure you, everything will be seen except you. I always tell men, invite a woman on the first date for a coffee. If she doesn't accept, she wasn't interested in you. She just wanted a free meal. And you're not here to finance the luxurious life that woman wants to sell on Instagram for free. That's why she's single. Because let's say several men have spent that much to go out with her, yet she's still single. So, what does that tell us? Many were deceived into thinking they had a chance, but she just went for a free meal. Brother, these women belong to the streets. Avoid these kinds of women. Don't go spending a fortune impressing someone who will most likely call Chad to massage her legs after dining with you.
Everyone's out here like, try women. You know what's hard? Dating women, okay? I've met maybe 2 women in my life that I'm like, maybe I would. And you know what? They weren't interested in me. So everyone's like, oh, just try it. It's not easy. I am trying. And just goofy boy after goofy boy just keeps coming up to me. And I'm like, well, I like you. So, I don't know. It's not easy. It's not easy, and I'm going to be straight forever, okay? Okay.
I'll make another video soon about this, but there has been a movement among feminists lately encouraging women to switch sides. Let me tell you, many of those who constantly blame men for everything or claim that everything is the fault of the patriarchy and men are unnecessary are women interested in other women. Those marches complaining against men are just means they used to go flirt with naive girls who believe they're fighting for something. They're just vulnerable to the ideas of these women who later invite them to try with the story that you don't need a man. But let me tell you something, having those inclinations since childhood is one thing, doing it as an adult is another. And when they're attacked because they're vulnerable women, it's clear. A woman alone, who has been without a man for a while, a girl who has never been in a relationship, or a single mother coming from a failed marriage, these are women who are easy to convince because they're vulnerable. It's easy to tell them that the fault of their pain or situation lies with men. Why not try dating one of us? We understand you better. But what they don't tell them is that the rate of domestic violence is worse in relationships between women than between a man and a woman. Brothers, be very aware of this. That strange friend of your wife could be more of a competitor for your wife's interest than a supposed friend.
This is for the girl that is on the fence about deciding whether or not she wants to save herself for marriage, and she feels like she can't do it, like there's no way she can make that decision, and she doesn't know how she's going to feel loved in a relationship if she doesn't have sex with them. This is for her. Take it from me, I have been in those exact shoes. I had sex before marriage with all of my previous boyfriends, hookups, I was doing all of it. And now I'm in a relationship where we are saving ourselves for marriage. And trust me, it's not easy whatsoever. It is a very narrow road and it's very hard to walk in purity. But knowing that on my wedding night, I get to give my husband all of me, my heart, my mind, my body and soul, as a gift to him, and he gets to give that to me, is like the most special thing in the whole world. And I truly never thought that I would get to that point. I genuinely was like, Lord, this is one area of my life that I just cannot surrender to you. Like, there's no way I can do this. And the day that I decided, okay, God, have it all, you have all of me, make me pure, make me holy, was life-changing. There's a few quotes from the book Single, Dating, Engaged, Married by Ben Stewart that I love. The first one is, when you are sleeping with someone before marriage, you are taking away from that person's person if it doesn't work out. And the second one is, I have no right to someone else's body and they have no right to my body before marriage at all. My body belongs to Christ and I am a temple for the Holy Spirit. And I want to be as pure as I possibly can be for Jesus. So if you're on the fence about it, pray into it, invite Jesus into it, say, Lord, change my heart, take this from me, turn this around, do a miracle in my heart, because this is something I cannot do on my own, in my own strength. There's no way I can do it. It is going to be so worth it. I'm not married yet. I'm heading into a season of engagement and marriage, but every single mentor in my life, every single friend that I have that is married says that it is so worth it. It's worth the wait. You got it, girl. Invite Jesus into this, and I promise it'll be all worth it.
Brothers, from a young age, men are taught that they have to create their social and economic value to access the best women in their lives. Women, on the other hand, are only asked to preserve their value, not to give themselves to any passing Chad, a man who brings nothing to the table except his seed. But what do? They give all their affection to the masses. Then they want the man to marry them because she's a woman who has been through a lot, which served as experience to make her a good wife. And there are studies that support that the more relationships a woman has, the less she commits, the less faithful she is, the less tolerant she becomes with men, and women know it. Women only fall deeply in love 3 times. The first 3 boyfriends were the ones they loved the most, usually the Chad to whom they gave everything. Then, at the age of 27 and beyond, none of the men to whom they gave everything stay with them. They have to find a man who wants to give them the ring, usually the beta provider. But imagine that boyfriend watching this video where she says that she opened her legs to all her boyfriends, but with him, she conditioned it until he gave her the ring because on their wedding night, he'll get to try everything about her. Something others did without giving the ring, committing their long-term financial life. But the beta provider never listens to advice. Brothers, a woman's past matters. If she conditions her love for you, it means there were moments when the product went through a phase of free samples, and now she's making you buy it to try it. Can you imagine what her body count is like?
If you're a woman and you want to get married, I don't give a fuck. You got to do this technique. And I will never ever stop preaching this technique until you get fucking married, because it fucking works. I'm a realist and skeptic when it comes to relationships, and I still got what I wanted, bitch. And I didn't even ask for it, bitch. Can you fucking imagine? I just set the intention and did this technique, and within a month, I got a proposal. No cap, I'm telling you. And it's a prayer technique by Neville Goddard. You're gonna fall asleep to the wish fulfilled, and I don't care what it is that you want. But if it's marriage in particular, you gotta fall asleep to feeling a ring on your finger. And you're gonna feel it and feel it and feel it until it hardens into motherfucking fact. I'm a Neville Goddard student and I've done all the work for years, I'm telling you. This is the only guy you need for manifestations. If you're into law of attraction and manifestations, I'm sure you know the secret, right? That's how it all started. That's how they spread the message. But the shit was that this lady who actually wrote a book and did the documentary, she did the Neville Goddard techniques to actually manifest that movie, and y'all don't know. This is why you gotta listen to Neville. Like, you shouldn't be listening to new people, only to Neville Goddard students. And I'm biased, I might be, but that's the only motherfucking way. Whatever you hear self-concept states, it's coming from Neville. You gotta fall asleep to the wish fulfilled, especially if you want to get married. That's it. Fall asleep to the wish fulfilled.
You know what's ironic? Women say they don't need any man. They don't care what men think. But then you see in silly videos like this, hundreds of comments from women saying, I want to know how to manifest my man. Yes, because this dating coach always has the recipe, the trick, or the book on how to marry the Prince Charming. The problem is, they don't have any. This is where I wonder, are women so desperate that they're buying a course that doesn't even work for the person selling it? Instead of telling women to learn to value their man, to lower their standards, to learn to date normal guys, simply hardworking men, to stay away from chads, or even to take the initiative and ask out the guy they like. Nothing will happen if she says, let's go for coffee. But that doesn't sell. It's better to have an imaginary ring and think, come to me, rich man, come to me, beta provider. Just saying something like that makes me feel foolish.
I'm gonna be vulnerable for a moment, and this is a bit embarrassing because everyone talks about this when you're engaged, like, oh, getting married is so beautiful, so wonderful, having kids so beautiful, so wonderful, and it's like, I don't know, and I've never felt that. I've always felt that it is the most important decision that comes with an incredible amount of weight and discernment and calculation, and like being able to do that as a woman, right? That is the most important thing, because it's your life that is affected the most. It is, you really have to look past those years of your early mid-20s to make the absolute best decision. You have to think about 30s, you have to think about 40s, 50s. You have to think about what blueprint you're giving your daughter as what to look for in a partner, because odds are who you choose to be their father is something that's their standard. That's going to be their example of love, and like, it's so important, and we just kind of breeze past it and just, anybody can't be anybody. It can't. And my family, like, I'm very passionate about family. I'm very passionate about my future children, and I just want to make sure I do everything right. That I just want to give them the best chance. I want to give them the absolute best example of love. I want to show them that you never settle. So many things that it can be done right, okay? And that's pressure. That's a lot of pressure. Yes, it's fun. It's a beautiful season to be in, but boy, I feel like I'm going to war for people that aren't born yet. And by golly, I'm going to have something to show for it at the end of this. So, whatever. Thanks. Well, thanks for listening.
Here we go with the cat and mouse game, brothers. I always say, when I see a woman on the wall saying she's not interested in family or children, I just hear someone who has to change the narrative because they've resigned to their reality. It's easy to say you don't want kids, but whether you don't want them or can't have them, if you and your partner decided so, I can understand. But if you say it when you haven't even been close to having one, then I don't buy it. It's true that knowing who has your child is important, which is why I tell men to take care of their seed, not to put it in any woman, because a good mother will be the best for your future, but a bad mother, or worse, an ex-partner, can make your life hell. That's why a man should always take care of his seed. Once it's out of your body, it's all under the control of the woman. Now, when she says she's passionate about family and children but claims she's not excited, she doesn't even understand herself. What I see here is someone who has hit the wall, doesn't have a man, feels lonely, and is changing the narrative as she ages. Here, I show you the reality that the wall doesn't forgive, brothers. We've reached the end of the video, but before we go, the questions are for you. What do you recommend to young women so they can get married? Would you spend $800 just to meet a woman? If you enjoyed the video, make sure to give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell. Your support means the world to us and motivates us to create more content. Stay tuned for the next exciting video from The Wall.